Season 2 began with £100 million spent and a blistering start in the Premier League, and today, with one more big signing lined up, I'm confident we can bring back the glory days to Aston Villa Football Club. But as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. 2 wins from our opening 2 games has put us in second place in the Premier League, just behind Manchester City, our title rivals from last season on goal difference. And a big part of that has to go down to the signing of this man, Edmund Tapsoba, an absolutely blistering start to life in Aston Villa colours, and he is starting to form a formidable partnership at the back with this man Pau Torres. In addition to that, with the signing of this man Vitina coming in and bringing our midfield to life, scoring a goal and an assist in his first 2 Premier League appearances, I am confident that those 2 new signings will light up the Premier League for the remainder of the season. However, looking at the rest of my starting 11, there is one glaring hole that I still need to fill. Now, the likes of Wilfred Gnonto, Buendia and even Leon Bailey on the substitutes bench all can fit in on the left-hand side of my midfield. But with 15 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League campaign last season, there is a glaring Italian-shaped hole that is missing, courtesy of Nicolo Zaniolo departing back to his parent club Galatasaray. Now, last episode I asked you the simple question, should I look to branch out and try and bring in another left midfielder, especially this man Nico Williams, who was a firm favourite in my eyes? Or should I return to the man who thrilled the Aston Villa fans last season and look to bring Nicolo Zaniolo back in on a permanent basis? And much to my delight, you lot have spoken, and it is the prodigal son, the man who absolutely lit up the Premier League last season, whom you want to see back in an Aston Villa shirt this year. That is right, he's a man who I'm sure will be eager to return back to the Premier League and eager to test himself against some of the best defences in world football. It is this man, Nicolo Zaniolo, who returns to Aston Villa Football Club for £42 million to become our third and final signing of the transfer window this summer. And after being unveiled to the Aston Villa faithful following that colossal move from Galatasaray, he will slot into my starting 11 with immediate effect. However, just when I thought the team was looking in perfect and tip-top shape ahead of the new season, West Ham have decided to come in and try and trigger the release clause of my wonder kid Jacob Ramsey. Now, of course, at only 23 years of age and also lighting up the Premier League last season, he is definitely someone that I do not want to lose ahead of the new campaign. So I've spoken to my assistant manager. He's willing to offer a new contract with a 2-year extension, the release clause removed, which he is happy to accept. Talks to West Ham United have broken down, and it means this man Jacob Ramsey will continue with the Aston Villa team for the foreseeable future. For now, though, it is time to get back to the football, and it's time for this man Nicolo Zaniolo to make his second debut in an Aston Villa shirt as we head over to a newly promoted Leicester City to face off against them at the King Power Stadium. As you can see, no changes to my usual starting 11. The only major change is that this man Nicolo Zaniolo does come back in, and he will be hoping to pick up from where he left off last season. Ederson for Leicester City, looking to burst past my midfield, plays a wonderful ball out to Christensen. Sacha Boey comes across brilliantly though to challenge him, and now Moussa Diaby picks it up, and he can now try and bring the ball forward into Ollie Watkins. He's got an on-rushing run off that man. Zaniolo tries to go past the defender. He does go past the defender. Zaniolo strikes. What a save. Well, I thought it was going to be an instant return and an instant impact from the Italian, but he was inches away from getting his first goal of the season. He heads it though, and it goes off for a Leicester City goal kick, unfortunately. Takes it over the top, looking for the run of the striker, but it's well read by Pau Torres, and Tapsoba with a beautiful defence splitting pass there, lays it off into the path of Moussa Diaby. He just skips past the challenge of the left back, and look at the pace from the Frenchman to burst down this right-hand side. Can he try and find a ball into the box? Dinks it in, looking for that man, Zaniolo! Oh my word, it could have been 2. Well, I tell you what, he has had an instant impact for sure. He could have had his second goal of the game, but unfortunately, he still was unable to get his first, as Moussa Diaby with an acrobatic overhead kick that ends up going wide for another Aston Villa corner, and it's one that Jacob Ramsey will step up to take yet again. I'm going to try the usual trick of putting it into the penalty spot, looking for Kamara. It's headed away by the Leicester City defence, but it's been all Aston Villa inside the opening 15 minutes here as Moussa Diaby continues down the right-hand side, dinks it back in again, looking for Watkins. What a save. That goalkeeper deserves a medal for Leicester City. What a performance in the opening 20 minutes. Huge 3 saves there to keep them in the game. Cannon just goes past my left back. Martial now into the box. Lovely pass into Ederson. Off the post. Oh my word, it's Cannon off Martinez. And eventually it falls back into his hands. My word, from one end almost scoring 3 times to then almost conceding down the other end. What a start to this game. Well, I'm losing count of the amount of corners we've had inside the opening half an hour, but we have not been able to take advantage of any of them. We're now in here with Kamara though. The central defensive midfielder is blocked again by the goalkeeper. That man What a game he's having. Right, here we go then. He's going to try and dink this one over. I'm going to go long this time. Going to try and go to the back post and mix things up. It's a good ball in. Looking for the header, Pau Torres. It's well defended though and hacked clear by the Leicester City defence. Out wide to Harry Winks, the former Spurs man. Lays it back into Pratt and he gives the ball away. Well read there by the right back Sacha Boey. And look at this burst from the young man. Just was too late. Delayed the pass, made the wrong decision. And now Leicester can try and hit us on the counter-attack. Kamara comes across to try and block off the challenge. Doesn't do enough. Cannon now has it. Can he try and cannon his way into our penalty area? Lovely little cutback into the path of Mavidi, and he blazes it over the bar. Well, we start the second half here, hopefully as we ended the first half. An absolute domination in the opening 45 minutes, but we were unable to find the back of the net. We have to try and look to change that in this second half as Estupinian brings it forward, plays it into the debutant Zaniolo. He comes central. Can I try and find a ball? Lovely pass all the way out to Sacha Boey. Going to try and cut this one back into Vitina. Vitina now looks for Ollie Watkins. He strikes with his left. It's well blocked. Hacked away again by the Leicester City defenders. Estupinian wins that one well in the air and now tries to burst down the left-hand side. Goes past the defender. Really nicely done. Tries to cross it in. Gets the crosser wrong, but Vitina almost got there ahead of the defender. But it's well cleared yet again. Cannon for Leicester City. It is 3-on-3 here, but he overruns it. Brilliant defending yet again for Tapsoba. What a brilliant signing he's been in the opening 3 games. Estupinian gives the ball away to Harry Winks, gets it back, gives it away again. Leicester go again. My word, this is just as end-to-end as the first half was. Pratt now into Martial on the right-hand side. He's being chased down by Kamara. Continues though, keeps the ball. Estupinian now has it into Zaniolo. This is our chance to try and hit them on the counter. Ollie Watkins feeds a lovely ball out to Kamara. The central defensive midfielder finds himself on the left-hand side, bursts into the box. He hasn't got the pace or the guard to get away from the defenders, but feeds it into Watkins who puts it wide. And so after 65 minutes, Zaniolo will come off and he's replaced by Leon Bailey. Perhaps the lack of match fitness is shown here today. He wasn't able to make the impact that he would have hoped. He was unlucky though not to get 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes. From then, he went pretty quiet. So I do make a change and he'll be hoping for better fortune as the season progresses. Oh, Kamara gave that one away to Mavidi. It's a really dangerous position that he's left us in, but Tapsoba, what a piece of defending. Literally, this man can do no wrong so far this season. Now Kamara tries to release Diaby. Diaby ends up having to cut back inside, but he's got the pace and the guile to get away from Christensen. Can he try and find a ball into Ollie Watkins? He's looking for the runner. The Englishman finds a ball into him, but it's well defended in the end from Pratt, and it's cleared away by Leicester City. Kamara out to Estupinian. We have been knocking and knocking and knocking on the door, but we are yet to find an answer here. Poor ball by, I think it was Jacob Ramsey, and in the end it's cleared away to Mavidi. He cuts back inside, finds Cannon. Cannon now to try and burst through the heart of my defence. In the end gives it away cheaply to Estupinian. Again, we're going to try and bring this one forward. Lovely pass into the substitute Leon Bailey. Surely he will have the pace to get away. And instead, though, gives it into Jacob Ramsey. Tries to give it back. He's been poor so far today, but Ollie Watkins wins it back high. And now Moussa Diaby has it. He's going to try and look for the overlapping run of Sacha Boey down the right-hand side. Checks back. Gives it away. So poor. That's pretty much been the story of the game so far. The final pass has been left wanting. Now, though, Cannon has it and Leicester have the opportunity to try and hit us. But instead, Pau Torres comes across and it is crisis averted yet again. Kamara. Lovely ball over the top to Sacha Boey. We are deep into stoppage time here. Surely this is going to be the last potential opportunity of the game. It's fed all the way out wide to Estupinian. Surely he's going to cut it back into Leon Bailey. Tried to strike with his left. Another brilliant challenge from Pratt. It's cleared away and the referee blows for full time. Well, it was a tough, hard-fought game, but one that I'm sure Leicester City will be the most happy about, having been able to secure a point here today. We had ample opportunity to get the 3 points, especially in the opening 15-20 minutes of the first half, but we just could not take our chances. Full time here at the King Power Stadium, it finishes Leicester City 0, Aston Villa 0. A frustrating draw in the end, and one that ends our winning streak so far in the Premier League. This man Zaniolo will be looking to improve after what can only be described as a bit of a lacklustre debut, as his missed chances mean we drop 2 points and we drop down to 4th place in the table alongside Manchester City as West Ham and Liverpool leapfrog us both to 1st and 2nd place. But with our arch rivals Wolves, a Wolves team that are performing very well in the Premier League so far, up in 6th place, just 1 point behind us, being the very next team that we're going to be entertaining back at Villa Park ahead of our next game of the season. We're going to be hoping to do a lot better than we did last year. They had our number last season, beating us twice and really putting a halt to some of our title aspirations. We will be hoping to do the same thing to them today, pick up the 3 points and get back in the win column. No changes to my starting 11 that started against Leicester City in our very last game. Let's get straight down to football. Well, as I mentioned, Wolves certainly had our number last season, beating us twice and beating us pretty embarrassingly, it must be said. We've got to hope that we do a much better job here here today, and Sacha Boey has started the way we mean to go on, bursting down the right-hand side, whipping a good ball in, but Jose Sarr makes it look easy as he collects in mid-air. Nice little ball into Vitina, and he played a wonderful ball into Moussa Diaby. He's going to look for the overlapping run of Sacha Boey again, heavily involved inside the opening 5 minutes, but Totti came across and covered the challenge really well. Jose Sarr almost closed down there by Ollie Watkins, but did a good job of releasing Nelson Semedo. He plays it into Tapia. Nice ball up to Zarabia, and he just knocks it past Pau Torres. He's got the beating of him for pace. Cunha, though, is blocked off by Tapsoba. Honestly, I am running out of superlatives for this man. He's been an absolute revelation at the back since joining us in the summer. But now, Nicolo Zaniolo to try and burst into the centre here. Plays a lovely ball into Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins to strike on his left, and he drags it wide. Jacob Ramsey wins the ball high in the air. It's been all Aston Villa at the opening 15 minutes of this game. Exactly the sort of start and response I would have wanted here today. Kamara, though, is going to try and float a lovely little ball over to Estupinian on the left-hand side. He goes past the left-back, whips a good ball in, looking for someone. In the end, it was to absolutely no one, and Wolves get it clear. Goes out to Zarabi, who had the beating of Pau Torres for pace earlier on. He's going to try and look to do the same thing here, but instead ends up cutting it back for this man, Nelson Semedo. He looks to go inside. He's being tracked by Jacob Ramsey, but Gomez now picks it up for Wolves. The attack has lost a little bit of steam, and Vitina did a really good job of winning the ball back, and now Ollie Watkins can try and release Moussa Diaby. It's a lovely ball over the top into his path. He's being chased down by the left-back Ain't Nori, but instead cuts it back onto his left. Has the momentum gone? Now, Moussa Diaby, though, shaped up to strike and blasts it against 1/4 instead. Lovely little touch back into Tapia, and Cunha has it again, though. Tapsoba. Oh, my goodness. He's just unbelievable. Jacob Ramsey, though, plays it into Nicolo Zaniolo, looking to do a little bit better than he did yesterday. In his debut. But instead ends up losing the ball, and now Wolves can try and hit us on the counter as Nelson Semedo tries to knock it past Estupinian. He has got the beating of him. It's a ding-dong battle between Sarabia, and now Cunha into Tapia, strikes, big save from Martinez. Wolves with a corner. It is that man, the danger man so far, that Sarabia is going to take. Floated in looking for Hwang, headed away by my striker Ollie Watkins, only out as far as Sarabia again though, who will have a second bite of the cherry. Hwang tries to play it in. He does the good deed and goes past the Aston Villa defenders. Sarabia strikes, big save again from Martinez. Sarabia again to float it in. This time it's Ollie Watkins for the second time to head it back out into his path. Dinks it back in again. Who else but Tapsoba to head it clear. Tried to win it back though, but Gomez was too strong for Ollie Watkins. He shapes up to strike. Tapsoba is in the way, but then we go and give it away, and Cunha strikes. What a save from Martinez. Well, we certainly started the first half a lot better than we ended it, and it looks like Wolves are picking up exactly where they left off here. We just cannot seem to clear our lines at the moment. I don't know what it is about Wolves, but they just seem to have our number so far in this Premier League. They've put a halt to our good momentum, and now they look like they are in the ascendancy as Cunha tries to go past Sacha Boey. Good defending into Pau Torres to try and bring this one out of defence. Estupinian on the left-hand side feeds it into Zaniolo. Lovely little play there. He held up the ball brilliantly, and he just allowed the run of Jacob Ramsey to strike. Good save from Jose Sarr. Moussa Diaby with the corner. We have to try and see if we can get ourselves back on top in this game. It's fired in, looking for the head of Jacob Ramsey. It's a strong head, but Jose Sarr is equal to it. Hwang to pick it up on the left-hand side. Sacha Boey tracks his run really nicely, and he has no option but to go backwards to Gomez. He tries to float a ball over the top into Cunha, but it's well won by Kamara. Zaniolo now into Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins tried to release Moussa Diaby, but it was well read by the Wolves defence. Now Cunha has it. Pau Torres came across to win it back though. Zaniolo will pick it up on the left-hand side and surely try and look for a run in the centre, but instead Tapia wins it. Again, it's just that final pass has just been letting us down today. We just cannot quite seem to unlock this stubborn Wolves defence. And in the end, they try and play a nice ball out to the left-hand side, but blow for offside. Well, it's just under 20 minutes remaining on the clock here. I've made several substitutions to try and spark some life into this team, but this man, Diaby, is one of the few men that has managed to stay on the field. Instead, he tries to play a ball forward, and perhaps that shows a little bit lack of fitness and discipline from that man. But this man, Kamara, has been excellent in the heart of my midfield, and now he releases the Frenchman yet again. Can he try and drive down the right-hand side? Checks back onto his favourite left foot. Tielemans now on as a substitute. Plays it into Kamara, who strikes with his left. Jose Sarr out to almost to Leon Bailey, but Jose Sarr threw himself in front of it, and he did a brilliant job of keeping the ball out of the Wolves' net. Matty Cash into Leon Bailey. Bailey to Tapsoba. Tapsoba out to Moreno. Again, we've just got 5 minutes on the clock here to try and see if we can get a winner. Jacob Ramsey on the left-hand side. Plays it back in to Kamara. I'm going to try and see if I can go all the way out wide to Matty Cash on the right-hand side. He looks for Tielemans. We just can't seem to unlock this Wolves defence. Kamara sprays it all the way out wide to Alex Moreno. I'm going to try and fire a lovely ball in, looking for the head of Ollie Watkins. Doesn't manage to find it. It's cleared away into the path of Cunha. Stoppage time here at Villa Park. Hwang ends up losing it to cash, and just as I thought we were about to hit them on the counter, the referee blows for full time. Well, it's 2 games into this new episode, and it's our second 0-0. Moussa Diaby tried everything he could to try and get past the stubborn Wolves defence, but unfortunately, it was just not meant to be. As at full time here at Villa Park, it finishes Villa 0, Wolves 0. Well, in a game of very few chances, it was another goalless stalemate for Aston Villa. Fortunately enough, we keep our position in 4th place in the Premier League, but already now being 4 points behind Liverpool, we do not want to lose touch with the league leaders. And whilst we may not be able to find our shooting boots at one end of the pitch, there can be no denying we've got our defensive heads on at the other end, and that is in no small part to the addition of this man, Edmund Tapsoba. He's been absolutely brilliant at the heart of my defence, another brilliant performance, and he is a key contributor to the 2 clean sheets in 4 appearances so far. Now, I'm hesitant to change anything with my starting 11 or with my formation because it served me so well last season. However, if things continue and if the likes of Zaniolo and Moussa Diaby especially can't seem to find their shooting boots and can't get themselves in right positions, I may have to consider looking at alternative formations to try and play ahead in this new season. Plus, with £81 million still left in the budget, I've still got enough to play with as we head towards the January transfer window if I need to dip into it. For now though, it is time to turn our attention to a cup competition that we and all the fans will be eager to see as Aston Villa embark on their Champions League campaign. And to be fair, we've actually been handed a relatively favourable group in the competition, meeting Bayern Leverkusen yet again as we did last season in Europe, as well as being joined by Club Brugge and Rangers. We will be confident that we can go all the way and top the group and head into the knockout rounds. And it is Bayern Leverkusen whom will be the first team that we are going to welcome to Villa Park. It is a fabulous European night here in Birmingham, and I'm sure the Aston Villa fans will be absolutely delighted and eager to see us knock a few goals past the German club and get our first 3 points in the Champions League. With a little bit of fatigue creeping into the camp, there are only a couple of changes to my usual starting 11, and that is that Youri Tielemans comes back into the fold in central midfield, and Leon Bailey will start out wide on the left-hand side in place of Zaniolo, who drops to the bench. Well, here we go then, the moment that I and all the Aston Villa fans have been waiting for. It is the first opportunity for Aston Villa to get a taste of Champions League football for the first time in the club's history, and they will be desperate to put on a good show in front of their own fans at home, and we've got to make sure that we do just that here today. But Tapsoba again, starting off brilliantly. He puts in a brilliant challenge and releases Leon Bailey down the left-hand side. He's got the beating of pace of the defender, cuts inside. This is a fabulous start to the game here. Plays a lovely ball into Youri Tielemans. He's going to cut it back for Ollie Watkins. What an unbelievable way inside the opening 10 minutes to start a fantastic Champions League campaign. Ollie Watkins is on hand to lash a strike past the goalkeeper, but it was the fabulous work of Leon Bailey down the left-hand side, and this man, Youri Tielemans, back in the starting 11, who put it on a plate for him as he just passed his way into the back of the net. The keeper had no chance, and what a brilliant way to start our Champions League campaign. It's 1-0 Aston Villa. Schick for Bayern Leverkusen, who will be eager to put that disappointment and a poor start behind them and try and see if they can fight back immediately. Tapsoba, though, wins the ball again, and now it's into Youri Tielemans. Can we try and hit them on the counter-attack and see if we can get a second straight away? But in the end, we get a little bit caught up, and Bayern Leverkusen can bring it back out of defence. Kosunu, brilliantly done by Ollie Watkins to intercept there, and look at the pace he has ahead of the defender into Tielemans. Tielemans to strike. He should have laid it off for Leon Bailey. The attack is still alive though, and Leon Bailey gets his shot all wrong, and it goes out for a goal kick, much to my frustration. To be fair, that was poor on my part. I should have laid it off to Leon Bailey. I made the wrong decision. Youri Tielemans was selfish, tried to go for the strike. He saw his name up in lights, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be for the young Belgian. Lovely play into the path of Ollie Watkins, who's been heavily involved so far, and he plays it into the Frenchman Moussa Diaby, who drives down the right hand side. Look at the space he's got to run into. Moussa Diaby with his left, a huge save from the Leverkusen goalkeeper. Plays it back to Upamecano, who lifts a lovely pass right over my strikers. Brilliantly done from the Frenchman, and now he plays it into Granit Xhaka, the former Arsenal man. Wirtz gets it back into Frimpong. Schick now has it. Bayern Leverkusen have certainly got their tails up as they're trying to see if they can equalise here. Schick continues his run into the box. He's being chased down by 2 of my defenders. Frimpong, though, it was laid on a plate for him, and that is the strike of a defender. Got it all wrong and just passed it into Martinez's hands, and we breathe a sigh of relief. Into Moussa Diaby. Diaby to take it round the defender and play it back into the path of Vitina. Ollie Watkins picks it up, tries to see if he can go past the defenders, but in the end loses a little bit of momentum. Manages to keep the ball though. Feeds it out to Leon Bailey. He looks to go out wide. Well intercepted though by Frimpong. Much better at this end of the field from the young man. He releases Lojek, and now he plays it back to Granit Xhaka, who plays a wonderful ball forward into Wirtz. Wirtz trying to look to come across. He does the dummy round, taps over, plays it in to Patrick Schick, who strikes as Stupinian comes across with a huge block. Well, he had to make the block there, did the Ecuadorian, and my word, he did just that, because without that, it would have certainly been 1-1. Upamecano with a bullet header, a big save from Martinez that, to be fair, after my commentary, went a little bit under the radar, but eventually, I'm just praying now that the referee blows for half-time, which he does, as we've got to get in and try and recalibrate our heads, as we've lost it a little bit at the back end of the first half. Into Pau Torres, we've got to hope for a little bit more composure here in the Champions League. If we want to go far, and if we want to go the distance in this competition, we've got to show a little bit of tactical nous and a little bit of sense in times of danger. We didn't really show it too much in the first half, as Bayern Leverkusen almost equalised. We've got to do a better job in the second, as Tielemans looks to dribble away from the challenge of the midfield of Bayern Leverkusen. Oh my goodness, that is already a candidate for goal of the season in the Champions League. The Belgian has been on absolutely sensational form here today. He's got an assist in the first half, and now he's got an absolute screamer in the second. Well, not only was the touch and the turn away from the defender electric, but look at the strike. He had so much to do on the edge of the box with his weaker foot, just drilled it past the goalkeeper, gave him no chance whatsoever. I'm delighted it's 2-0 into Pau Torres. He checks it back for Edmund Tapsoba, who's going to float a very audacious pass over to the right-hand side, but he finds his man and plays it into Sacha Boey. Vitina now into Kamara. He's going to switch the play as well, right over to Estupinian. Lovely stuff here from Aston Villa. Plays it into Leon Bailey. Bailey strikes, big save. Well, we are playing some delightful stuff here in the second half. It's been an absolutely brilliant performance. And Zaniolo on as a sub. Oh my word. Almost gave us 3 and almost gave us his first Champions League goal in an Aston Villa shirt. A looping header after a brilliant corner, and it just looped over the goalkeeper, but unfortunately looped away from the goal, and it remains 2-0. Frimpong with the Leverkusen throw. That goal for us has seemed to spark them into life here, but is it too little too late for the German outfit? Frimpong now to bring it centrally. He's being chased down, almost gave the ball away. Kamara almost managed to get there, but Schick now has it and strikes, sends it wide. We've got just over 10 minutes here to hold on to what will be a famous victory in the Champions League. Aston Villa's first victory in their very first game. Can we do it? Time will tell. Leon Bailey came short with the ball into Pau Torres. He's going to try and float a ball right the way over to the right-hand side. A lovely pass into the path of Sacha Boey. Lovely stuff. Zaniolo now into John McGinn, who's come on as a sub. McGinn drives into the box, looks to dink it back into the path of Zaniolo, who hit it on the volley. Unfortunately enough, the defenders for Leverkusen just got in the way. Otherwise, that could have been a sensational third goal. Pau Torres. Nice pass into Kamara. Kamara's going to look to go out wide. Sacha Boey has it. Sacha Boey's going to try and look to switch the play all the way over to Moreno on the left-hand side. He plays it down into the path of Leon Bailey. Well intercepted, though, by Nico Slotterbeck. Frimpong brings it out of defence. He's hacked down by Yuri Tielemans. But fortunately enough for me, that is that. The referee calls time on what was a sensational game. The Aston Villa fans in the background are going absolutely berserk. What a time to be an Aston Villa fan, and what a time to be that man, Yuri Tielemans. A goal and an assist and a man-of-the-match performance on an Aston Villa night here in the Champions League that many of those fans will never forget. Full-time here it finishes. Aston Villa 2, Bayern Leverkusen 0. It's another solid display at the back, and it's another clean sheet. But the plaudits must go to this man, Yuri Tielemans. He's been in and out of the starting 11 so far this season, yet to really establish himself as our number one central midfielder with the arrival of this man, Vitina. But my word, what a way to try and get your thoughts back into my head, and what a way to get yourself back on side with the Aston Villa faithful. Unfortunately though, as we return back to the Premier League, we are brought crashing back down to earth, as unfortunately we can only do enough to draw to Liverpool, despite Jimenez missing a penalty in the 58th minute. Back to the Champions League, and we secure a 1-0 away win against Club Brugge, courtesy of an early goal from Buendia. We secure another 3 points in the Premier League, courtesy of 2 goals from Ollie Watkins, as they are enough to seal a 2-1 win against Fulham. We managed to knock Brighton out of the League Cup, courtesy of a solitary goal from Yuri Tielemans, as we beat them 1-0. And we follow that up in the Premier League with another win against them. This time it's Tielemans to the rescue yet again. His late goal in the 85th minute is enough to secure another 3 points as we beat them away from home 3-2. But it's a real shock and a real kick in the teeth as we suffer a huge loss against Nottingham Forest. Kamara, our central defensive midfielder, is sent off in the 12th minute, and it had dire ramifications. Tielemans missed a penalty in the 53rd, and we end up sacrificing a 2-0 loss to Nottingham Forest away from home. And whilst we sit pretty in the Champions League with 2 games played and 6 points on the board and looking comfortable that we are going to proceed through to the knockout stages. The same cannot be said for our form in the Premier League. Some up and down results mean that we now sit in 7th place in the table, only 15 points to our name, and we are now 6 points behind league leaders Liverpool. It seems like there's still a lot more work to be done if we want to achieve our goals this season, and it's looking more and more likely that come January I may have to dip into this £81 million transfer budget. However, that is that for the end of today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed our debut in the Champions League. If you have, please feel free to like, subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.